Back to the drawing board. Light rail is not heading to Naval Station Norfolk, at least for now.
Hampton Roads Transit has spent the last few years developing routes to the Navy base that they now say just won't work. 10 on your sides. Marielena Balouris spoke with HRT today about these plans. So Marielena, what's going on?
Well, basically the routes would be really expensive to create, and there aren't enough light rail riders to make it competitive to get federal funding. So tonight HRT is holding its first public meeting to explain the routes and why they don't think they're good investments, but they are still optimistic for the future.
Creating new routes for the Tide has been challenging for Hampton Roads Transit.
Multimodal options is important.
Jamie Jackson is spearheading the light rail expansion project. Over the last few years, HRT created more than a dozen potential light rail routes. They narrowed it down to 2, and after a series of studies, realized neither would work.
You really have to make sure that whatever you create or construct will compete, and these 2 alternatives unfortunately did not.
She's talking about competing for federal funding. The current west side routes to Naval Station Norfolk would need new infrastructure, like a bridge over the Lafayette River and overpass over the 564 and 64 interchange at Ward's Corner. Plus, sea level rise was a concern. So with ridership numbers that didn't match the costs of the routes, HRT is going back to the drawing board.
This asset needs to last 50 years.
ODU economics professor Robert McNabb says 50 years of a light rail route can change a community.
Light rail can help economic development. It can reduce congestion, and it can move a region forward in terms of its attractiveness.
He thinks to be really effective, it needs to keep expanding.
If we're going to develop as a region, if we're going to become more attractive to industries, we have to think regionally with regards to our public transit solutions.
Right now there is good news.
We do see that there should be or could be a viable option on the east side.
In the next few years, we should have new potential routes just on the other side of the city.
Tonight's meeting starts at 6 p.m. at the HRT building on East 18th Street in Norfolk. The next one is Thursday at 6 p.m. at the Lamberts Point Community Center. I'm Marielena Balouris, 10 on your side.